Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Bi-Weekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.
Greetings, everyone, to the November 5th, 2025 meeting of the Exeter Budget Recommendations Committee. I am Bob Kelly, the chair of the committee, and also on the Water and Sewer Subcommittee and the DPW General Subcommittee. We'll go around and introduce ourselves. Franny?
I'm Fran Hall. I'm on the Water and Sewer Subcommittee.
Melissa Roy, interim town manager.
Evening, everyone. Corey Stevens, finance director.
Don Cloutier, Fire and Police Subcommittee.
Judy Warren, Police and Fire Subcommittee Chair.
Liz Canada, Library, Human Services, Parks and Rec, and DPW General.
Chris Suter, Parks and Rec, Human Services, and Library. Like Lizzie.
Andrew Elliott, DPW General.
Amanda Kelly, she, her, General Government Subcommittee, and DPW General.
Thank you, everyone. Also off mic, we have Select Board Representatives Nico Papakassatis, Nancy Belanger, and Dan Chartrand. Thank you for coming, as well as many department representatives who we'll be hearing from this evening. So tonight we're talking about Human Services, Library, and Parks and Rec, not necessarily in that order. Chris Suter is the chair of the subcommittee, along with Liz Canada, and they will be walking us through their budget recommendations for our discussion. The write-up was at the table on your way in. Hopefully everyone had a chance to read it. Take it away, Chris.
All right. We're going to start with Human Services funding.
Page 30.
Oh, yeah. Page 30. Okay. So we had, all right, let me just start with Liz and I are in the committee. And we met with with Pam, and we met with myself, because I'm also on the Human Services Funding Committee. So I'll be switching hats, and hopefully that'll make sense if I do that. But I'll try to be clear. So anyway, so this year, the funding request was for $101,125. A very small increase, 1.1%. And just some organizations asked for more money. We had some that were awarded less, basically due because they were assisting less Exeter residents. So as their numbers went down, the funding went down a little bit. And we did have a new applicant, the Child Advocacy Center of Rockingham County, and they were awarded funding by the committee as they did meet the funding criteria. And then Pam is here today. We're very grateful for that. And when we started the process, we were working with the new part-time Human Services coordinator administrator, but they had their family moved, so they moved during the year. But thank goodness Pam is still with us, and Pam knows this like the back of her hand and has been doing it for years, so she jumped right back in, and it was just great. We wrapped the process up smoothly and efficiently. We had a new member this year, so I believe we have 5 people now on the committee, which is fantastic. And someone who just moved to town, and that was fantastic. We didn't have any changes to the application this year, or I should say the committee did not have changes to the application this year. And that was about it. Pam could probably speak to some of the organizations in particular, as she works with them directly. Hey, Anna. No, we'll start over. I always ask people to start over for me, so you didn't miss anything yet. You know what we're talking about. So, Pam, if there's anything you'd like to share about Human Services funding, if Liz has any questions, and if anybody else has questions, or if Liz has anything else to add, I should say.
With Human Services funding, we try to be thoughtful of the agencies that really do assist Exeter residents. Through the welfare department, we look to these organizations first. And some of them may not be reached out to from the welfare department on a regular basis because they may not assist in a way that would go through the welfare department, but they're all very important to families and to individuals in town. So the Human Services Funding Committee does vet them. We have the application. I believe we have 22 agencies here. And the group of 5 split them up, and they look at the applications very, very closely, paying attention to how many Exeter residents are served, the type of service that they give, and then they'll ask me questions about, what sort of interaction I have with them. So they're all wonderful organizations that really do help a lot of people, and especially during this time, during our government shutdown, I have quite a few people coming in asking about different organizations and where can they go that is local that can help them. So these are important, and we appreciate the funding that they're given.
And on behalf of the Human Services Funding Committee, I do want to say that everybody was in agreement when we did go down and vote on each application that we did have. It was 5-0, and Pam didn't have any issues with any of the organizations that were funded or the amount funded. She was in agreement. So, Judy, I think did you have a question?
Yes, and it's to Pam. With this list of organizations that you call upon before you allocate town funds, are you feeling that's adequate for what the demands that confront you on a daily basis? Do you have enough resources from this list now to do the work that you need to do?
So Human Services funding is separate from the welfare department. The welfare department can request assistance from these agencies and can suggest that clients may visit these organizations. It doesn't necessarily mean that I work with every single one of them through the welfare department. For instance, I'm looking at the Key Collective. The welfare department will not contact the Key Collective and request assistance, but if someone comes in who has children and wants to have their children attend activities, I may suggest that they contact the Key Collective. I have contact information to give them, to share with them. Did that answer your question? Okay.
And Pam, to that point, there are organizations beyond this list that the welfare department would be working with as well. So
Yes, absolutely.
These are the groups that have requested funding from the town of Exeter. So this is not a comprehensive list of every organization doing work in the area or supporting people, but this is
Right.
part of those very important groups.
Any other questions? I have one. In years past, we were actually provided a list just so we could know who was applying and compared to last year and all that. You don't happen to have such a list on you, do
I
you?
do happen to have.
Would you be willing to pass that
So I have a couple
around, just so-
different lists. Are you looking for the one that is a list of all of the agencies giving a little general idea of what it is that they do?
I mean, that'd be helpful.
Okay.
And I guess a note for next year would be, because again, in the past, we've gotten that list. You know, we're relying on the subcommittee to assess things with you, so it's not the point. The point is just to see on a budget basis what the town is helping,
Yep.
you know, who they're helping out.
Sure,
Just
and I do
information.
have the list of exactly which agencies, what they were awarded last year, what they requested this year,
That would be helpful.
the recommended funding from the subcommittee, and then after BRC makes their vote, then I put in what was approved.
Would you be willing to pass that around just so people could look at it for
Sure.
informational purposes?
Sure.
And then maybe send an email around tomorrow?
Yeah.
Just so we have it in our files?
Do you want hard copies? I can make photocopies tonight, but just email?
Yeah, after we're done here with you, that'd be great.
Okay.
Just so we can have it, and then just
So we
make a
can
note
just pass
for
that
next year that we get that
Both of them?
as part of our packet.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Do you
Thank
want both of them?
So do you want that mailed out in advance? Is that what you're saying, as part of the packet?
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
helpful.
So,
Okay.
to go along with your report.
Again, you were
Okay.
relying
So
on
your
you
report
to
that
do
you
the
provide.
QC. It's just more informational so that we can,
Sure.
Yep.
you know, if there are 22 agencies, it'd be nice to know who we're supporting.
Yep.
Because I know in the past we did that and it was very.
Yes, I
Yeah.
did do that, you're right.
And also, just so, you know, people know that it's always on the website. We have all the agencies listed, so you could actually go on there and you can go through their applications if you like. So everything's there.
Thanks. Pick on the 69-year-old for not knowing how to run the web. Okay.
Pam, can you pass around the description too, so
Yeah,
that we
sure.
can see the both? Thank you.
Excellent.
Bob, could I just make a quick comment about that? We talked about in our subcommittee, you know, the importance of seeing the organizations, and I've been on now a few different committees. I think what I get nervous about, anxious about, whatever it might be, is like going into too much detail in this larger committee about the individual organizations, because similarly, we don't do that for other parts of our government, right? Like, we don't look at contract services for Parks and Rec to see what contracts they have. So I want everybody to have this list. I think it's really important to see the organizations that we are supporting. And then there's just my little hesitation of like, if we get too in the weeds here,
Yeah, I don't
do we
think
have to do
that's-
that for all of our different departments?
That's certainly not
then?
what I was asking for,
Okay.
is to be in the weeds. It's more just a
Yeah,
We're not
list
trying to second guess.
and just compare with what we've done in the past.
Yeah.
That's all.
So no, I asked Pam to bring that tonight, and she did, so I really appreciate that. I'm just, so you guys know, I'm like, I hate wasting paper and giving out extra, and everything is
Well,
on,
it can be by email, that's fine too. It's just helpful.
it could be on the
to have a list.
website.
Well, if it's included.
I'll send it out.
If it's included with your report each
Yep.
year, all I'll have to do is when I email the report and upload the report onto the website, those will just be included with it
Okay.
as
Excellent.
part of the report.
Well, because I asked Pam, I said, we have that list, right? Because sometimes, especially when you're put on the spot, some of the organizations and names are so similar that I'll get them mixed up. And people start, digging with questions. I'm like, Rockingham this, Rockingham that, Seacoast this. But I do, I'm thrilled, though, that there's 5 people now on the committee. And so you can really, know that everything was really discussed. And it wasn't just like, oh, okay, everybody agrees and that's that. And we had some good discussions, and they weren't always happy-go-lucky, but, we made sure that everyone had their opinions and got to ask a lot of questions in those committee meetings, and, really made sure that everybody understood where everybody else was coming from, and that the funding was appropriate for the organization getting funded was appropriate because it matched the criteria of human services, but also that the amount was appropriate for the organization and how much, they were impacting Exeter residents. So.
Excellent. Thank you.
May I add one more thing, Bob? Because the recommendation for total funding is 101, 125, which is a teeny tiny increase from last year. But as Pam already mentioned, like the federal government shutdown, benefits, things that are happening right now in real time, I know that it is a tough budget year for us, but I think this is really important that we fund it at the level that is being recommended from you.
Yeah, I think in the past, we used 100,000 as a guideline, just to sort of be in a ballpark. Last year, we were at 98 and change, and that's what everyone felt comfortable with. So, yeah, I don't see that as a problem.
Great.
I can say that this for there's folks that weren't on the committee in the beginning. I think it might have been my first year on this committee, and the human services funding used to be done as part of the BRC. It was taken out that year, and I was one of the first people to be on that new committee for human services funding. So I was one of the original members of that. And so what had happened before this separate committee was formed was $100,000 that I believe was that this committee had to come up, allocate. So I was on the original committee, the Human Services Funding Committee, and that first year we worked with $100,000. And that new committee went ahead and came up with a proposal that was passed. And then that was the first and last year that the committee did that, because then after that we were told, talked about, the challenges of making it fit. And so we were told that, you come to the BRC, with a budget, whatever that may be, whether it's 80,000, 120,000, 99.99 thousand, it's, you figure it out. So the next year, that's what we did. And what was interesting is over the course of the years, it's always managed to, without us, and I want to be very clear, we did not say, wait, let's see where we're at, let's tally it up and see how much we have left to dole out. It was, you went through the applications, fund, don't fund, and then then you went through and you decided on the amount. And then at the very end, it was tallied up. And it always came in somewhere within, and it did go up. So, some years we were up to 120, I think, and then last year we were just a little bit below. But it had nothing to do with, where are we at right now? How much have we spent? What do we have left? It was always fund, no fund, and then what was the amount requested, and then a discussion about the funding amount, and then at the very end it was tallied up. So, and somehow it's worked very well. I think it's in a nice healthy space now, but it's like I said, some years will come in a little bit lower. Sometimes there was organizations had both gotten $10,000 apiece. That was $20,000 total. They merged, and so therefore it was that $10,000 less, the following year. There was another organization that may have been funded, for I don't know how much, but then they didn't apply. and they had been applying all along, so then was a little bit less that was asked of us. And every once in a while, a new one would come in, or an organization would ask for a lot more, so.
Bob,
Excellent. Andrew?
I'd like to make a motion for $101,125 for the Health and Human Services budget.
Do I hear a second?
Judy.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Having been around when this wasn't this process, healthy, this is a much better process than we used to go through,
Oh, absolutely.
right?
Fully agree.
Bob, can I just make a quick request? The recording secretary requested that you name the person that seconded.
Which I did last week, and thank you for reminding me.
Thank you.
So Andrew Elliott moved and Judy Rowan seconded. All those in favor of the motion to approve $101,125 for the Human Services funding, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote.
Thank you all.
All right, thank you so much, Pam. All right, we're going to do Parks and Rec second. So we have Greg and David here. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Page 31.
And I always really want to thank the staff because they work all day. They probably go home, maybe go home if they live close enough, have a quick dinner, and then pull their stuff back together and come in and sit in a meeting. So. Parks and Rec, that was pretty straightforward, very straightforward and very, honestly, very simple. The increases were just due to, salaries and benefits. I guess you probably should look at what I wrote, but hey, that's what I said. And then the senior coordinator that was agreed upon that they hired. Their salary is paid through a grant, through the general fund, and through the rec revolving fund. So and there were some personnel changes. And I'd really like to applaud, Parks and Rec for doing what I think every other, group has been doing, is trying to not ask for any increases and just saying, we'll figure it out with last year's budget. And I know that's not easy to do. And I hate that I have to say that's a good idea, because I know how important every dollar is to every department, and that when we cut even $500 out of something, it makes an impact. But there was no pushback. It was just, you can look at it, everything's flat except for, like I said, if Greg may want to talk about some personnel changes, but I'd love them also talk about some of the great things that have happened this year with their new senior coordinator and personnel or programming.
Thanks, Chris. We've been busy, if you've noticed. We officially, we'll start off, we officially have started the transition and move to 10 Hampton Road, so that's exciting. Mark it on your calendars, December 8th. Ribbon cutting, official ribbon cutting, so let us unpack hundreds of boxes. But we started off quickly and strong. We, after the March vote, we went through quite a bit of a interview process to find a good candidate for the senior coordinator. Obviously, in this economic climate, finding a part-time position is very difficult. And we were able to find a great resource in Lori Warner, who has done a fabulous job as our senior coordinator. She actually took a group to Piccadilly Place today, so it was a great day. But Dave Tovey, my right-hand man, really oversees our senior programming and does a fabulous job. And without him and his connections, we recently again got the Exeter Hospital grant for $30,000, which we're contributing more towards senior coordinator to kind of offset that increase. But it also allows us to expand the senior programming at no cost to the taxpayers. We have implemented a slight fee for our meals. We're a whopping $3 for a full home-cooked meal. Usually Dave, myself, and we'll help cook it. But we're excited moving into 10 Hampton Road, but we can't overlook what we did for Planet Playground. I know Dawn spends a lot of time at the park, and Jay does too. And to see that area transform into a destination has been really great, and seeing those people that
blew up overnight.
Yeah, that really came, and Amanda can speak to this. The accessibility is something I'm super proud of Exeter supporting. So between all of those things and our increased programs, our programs are up. Our senior programs are definitely skyrocketing. Our senior meals, like I mentioned, average 60 to 70 people a month. And we see a lot with the food insecurities, back to what Pam just was talking about. So we have a lot that take to go. And the nice thing is, we do make an abundance of food. And so we contribute to the community fridge too. So our leftovers helps feed the community. But I gotta give credit to Dave, Caroline Neal, our rec coordinator. They've done a fabulous job, just expanding programming, status quo. And then all three of us together, we work on aquatics. This year, just to tell you, like the Daniel Healy pool attracted over 9,000 paid customers. Just think of that, like that's not even including our 300 kids that are in summer camp, our 200 kids in swim lessons, or those that have senior or season passes, which are in the hundreds. So that the whole park is a destination. It's a perfect example of what Exeter really embraces about recreation, and we look forward to expanding. And the budget is straightforward. It's we did have our office manager retire, and we hired a new office manager and a new parks laborer, and that's why the budget is what it is. So,
Any questions?
I'd like to say that, so my neighbor took advantage of her first senior luncheon for $3 and took me through every course and how much she enjoyed it. And then we actually, before that, I was like, oh my gosh, I have got to go to Planet Playground before we have me. I can't believe I haven't seen it yet. So we went, her and her aide, we went on a Friday afternoon, and it was just slammed. And it was, no, was it Friday? Yeah, it had to be, I think so. Anyways, it was an afternoon, and it was so busy, and it stayed busy, and it was all ages. It was really neat seeing parents with their kids. We saw grandparents with their kids. It was me and, and my friend, and who's 77, on the swings, and and the equipment's beautiful. I was so impressed. It's just really nice. I mean, what they did with that space it's so impressive. We were taking pictures and videos, and so if you haven't seen it, don't be like me. Don't put it off. It's a gem. It's a gem, and it was hopping the whole time, and it was chilly out too.
Judy?
Now, I just had a question. In both recreation and parks, the big jump in health insurance and dental, that's due to the different personnel?
Correct,
and
Judy.
the choices they made
Yes.
about their policies?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had one.
And about to get bigger.
Can you tell us a little bit about what the senior coordinator is going to be doing, such as focusing on, specializing in, whatever?
Yeah, so the senior coordinator and I work together closely. That position helps planning programs, planning trips. They help us with events that are older adult related as well. So I'd say like an extension of what I do as far as programming goes for older adults.
Because Dave oversees adults, like, everyone's adults, sorry. Anyone not youth, Dave oversees that programming. So when they get 21 to up, Dave is taking over running any kind of programs.
I get pulled in many different directions to help out Greg with other various projects.
Age friendly.
Age friendly.
That's right.
Andrew?
Yeah, just wanted to ask a question for planning purposes. My kids use the pool. It's great. We're annual. I don't know. We get the whole summer thing. But it's obvious that's going to need some updating in the near future. Like the building itself is with bathrooms and other things.
Andrew, I'm glad you asked that. Currently it is under renovation.
Right now.
My staff, Scott Thomas and Chad Dean, are very talented with their skills. They removed all those cement partitions in between the stalls and down to the bare concrete. patched every little hole and wall. We had painter come in. We're putting, they're actually still right there. They're epoxy floors, so it's going to be updated, like the chips you would see in a garage, so they're slip resistant. And new poly partitions, and we're finally having 2 ADA family changing stalls installed with some changing tables in it. So it's going to be a more updated version of it. We're also are updating our concession stand to go with the current codes of Serve Safe, and so it will look a lot different, Andrew, when you walk in next year.
Oh, looking forward to that. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. So thanks for doing that as part of your team, taking that on. Really appreciate that. I'm sure that saves the town a lot of money.
And we're also renovating at the same time the spray pad, and I was in front of the select board a few weeks back, and one of the things that I want to emphasize is we're trying to become efficient and more up to date. So one of the things that we are doing is redoing the circulation system in the spray pad. I'm not going into the weeds here, but it just will become a cleaner product coming out of the spray nozzles than it currently is.
Wonderful.
And we're patching a lot. We found when we renovated and took the concrete out, we found 3 major leaks, which we are hemorrhaging about 500 gallons a day.
Wow.
I'm glad
Somewhere.
you mentioned that. That blew my mind.
Yeah.
Very upsetting in a drought.
and well, the department pays for it through the rec revolving fund, so we were just paying money that was water for going in the ground. So those repairs are underway. We're going to start filling in the hole, and soon concrete will be going in, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we applied for a $100,000 grant to put a new vinyl tile over the spray pad. If we get it, great. If we don't, the select board, I will go back to them and we'll do this rubberized paint to go on it. So the spray pad's going to look a lot different, but more modern. Same features, but some of the features that we had to take offline because they were broken will now be functional.
Okay. So there's no major renovations coming down the line that we should be thinking about?
No, actually, one of the things that
Wonderful.
when we had the facility assessment done a couple years back, we just started going down the checklist. The things that are still on the bucket list to do for that pool house is a new roof, because the roof is over 25 years old. We've patched it. We want to reline all the cast iron piping underneath the cement, so it'll last another 50 years. And maybe a few of the fixtures updated. We're going to have to replace all of our mirrors because they were rotted and 45 years old. So nothing major, just a few things, and we pretty much would have accomplished everything on that checklist and make it a facility that will last another 25 to 30 years.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Looks like these are the new numbers that you have up there, Corey,
They
for
are, yes.
benefits.
Yep.
So health
Actually-
is,
Actually, to start, there's a change to full-time wages
oh, okay.
as well in this case. New number is, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. That was that's in parks.
Okay, so the new health is 143,941. Looks like.
You are right. See, you don't even need me. All you need is a screen.
I wouldn't go that far, but dental, I can read.
Don't move.
I got my new prescriptions. And the
So,
new
sorry.
dental 6771
You got it.
for a new benefits total of 219,400.
I feel like I'm getting AI'd out here for some reason.
And we haven't,
Actual intelligence right there.
we haven't,
400. Read to
we haven't scrolled down enough, so I can't come up with a new total.
Yeah, we're not
That's all right, I
scrolling- We're not
can't,
scrolling any further.
I still can't
keeping
see
his
it
job.
because my lenses aren't as good, so. New total for benefits was
219,400.
219.
And the total for rec?
568,209. 568,209.
Wow. That's a big increase, though.
Chris?
Want to make a motion?
Oh, yeah, make a motion to approve the recreation budget.
Second.
Moved by Chris Suter and seconded by Liz Canada. Further comments?
Just what's the percentage on that? I can't see that far.
11.
11% increase.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote.
I always talk about Parks and Rec like interchangeably. Because to me, they're just so connected. So technically, we're on the Parks Department, and like I said, it's the same as Rec. They didn't not spend any more than they're spending last year. They're going to make do, and the increases are due to salaries and benefits. But if Greg, if you want to.
On
speak
this,
to-
on the park side, our two parks employees are SEIU employees, so they fall into the union contract. So that is the obligation on that part. And again, new labor came in, actually needed benefits, not a buyout.
Any comments or questions?
Are you fully staffed now?
Fully staffed, been fully staffed since, I better knock on wood. Melissa hates when department heads say this. I've been fully staffed for a while now, so and with two talented, hardworking employees that we just cherish.
Okay.
So you got a new full-time member in park, right? Full-time wages are 108,765. Total salary is 113,577.
Looks like health is 48,744. And dental, 2,804.
Okay. Corey speaks up nice and clearly, so, Mr. I can see it all. I'm just talking out loud.
The benefits total is $74,814.
Wait, 7 4 what?
$74,814.
Thank you.
And again, so what would the total be?
Total parks is 298,292.
290, 290.
298,292.
Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion for that number.
So moved?
Second.
Chris Suter moves and Liz Canada seconds. Further questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that increases
6.
green on green.
18.6.
So total parks is,
866,501. 866,501. 13.5%.
thank you. Okay.
Bob, quick
Yes.
question for you. You tell me. So, as far as CIP,
Yes.
there's, they're no longer going, the Parks and Rec have decided to waive asking for any funding this year due to the climate that we're dealing with right now financially, to pass on a year for the recreational.
Park Improvement Fund.
Park Improvement Fund, thank you.
Entirely?
Just for
this year.
For this year, typically, we look for 100,000, or they look for 100,000. And then this year, they were going to ask for simply 50,000, again, because of the environment we're living in right now financially. And Greg reached out to me maybe last week and just said, FYI, we're going to ask, just for this year, nothing to be added to the fund. So there won't be any discussion on that. I didn't know if you want to take a couple minutes just to talk, they could mention what they did with the funds from last year.
Well, I was going to do CIP after we finished other culture and special events, because that would be under his purview as well.
Oh, that's
But
true.
that's fine, since
I
we're on
didn't
it.
know they were leaving yet, so.
Since we're on
Get it in.
go for it.
Yeah, busy year, as I mentioned. This past few months, we've been finalizing the bathhouse renovations we talked about. We've everything that was on the, a lot of the things that were on the CIP form last year. So we did a lot of upgrading at Gilman Park with regrading for drainage. That was a big thing. It was causing some serious issues, so now it's properly graded. We now have a guardrail in place, so the new grading in the pavilion that we built several years ago is protected, so no one can drive at it or no one can drive on that new grading. We're redoing that infield because anyone that's had a child in T-ball knows it's just loam and it looks like an infield, but it's not. So on a rainy day, it just, you sink. So that's a new infield is going in, so that'll be, and we share that facility and EJBSL. Also, we have a great partnership with them. They have their program there, so that's a big one. It really looks great. It mimics, the guardrail mimics what was previously there. Because of the drought, we did get approval to plant 3 trees. We obviously pushed it to the fall, spring. We don't want to plant trees during the drought, even though it's been raining. And then, yeah, one of the big accomplishment is our connecting 4 Hampton Road to 10 Hampton Road. So now there's an accessible pathway that people can get, especially without the sidewalk continuing on Hampton Road. So if you get to the rec park, you can actually follow it all, the parking lot all the way up and take a nice leisurely walk up to the rec park. So that's one of the things that we're really happy. It's a nice 8-foot pathway, so you don't have to step off the path when there are people coming at each other. And the bathhouse renovations was the big one that we really started chipping away at because we felt that was a need, especially you have a beautiful new community center that's coming online. You have a beautiful new playground. You're gonna have now a nice bathhouse, and so that pretty much expended all the funds. I think the balance is about $18,000 left, with knowing that if I don't get that grant I mentioned previously, I'll have to come back to the board for about $4,500. And if we can squeak together, that's probably when we hit the roof at the pool house, if we, in the spring, make it through the winter and at least make it watertight, and that'll be it, and we'll pause for time being.
Excellent.
Bob, if I
Thank you.
may, I just want to thank the Park and Rec Department because we didn't start the budget process off at 0, going in at the park improvement fund at 0, and they understood where we were and came to us and offered that up as a team player. So I just wanted to thank them because I was very impressed with that, and all of the departments are making sacrifices, and I thought it was really fantastic. Like I said, that wasn't the initial request. We had already reduced it, and then they came back and zeroed it out. So I want to thank their team very much for the greater good for all of us. So thank you.
Thank you, Greg.
I had a question.
Sure.
So, Greg, on the CIP, you have actually completed part or all of some of the items that were listed. The bathhouse is part.
That was phase 2. So what?
The guardrail.
The guardrail. That's a guardrail at the skate park. If you've gone by the skate park, that guardrail's in pretty rough shape.
So it's a different.
Different guardrail,
Okay.
different park. Yeah, and then we obviously passed on any of the electrical and any of the bench replacement that we need to do. So, and then drainage and Park Street, Brickyard drainage and irrigation, we can last. It's been sufficient. We have to just play around the raindrops a little bit more, but we can make do and before we upgrade that facility.
So it's some of the bathhouse has been done, and some of Gilman Park.
Well, it says Gilman Park Electrical. We were gonna add
Okay.
electrical service to Gilman Park for future expansion of a possibility of a bathhouse, like a bathroom.
Okay, so this is
And,
just
yeah.
deferred.
Deferred, everything's deferred.
Jay?
Just a quick question, living off of Hampton Road and seeing the activities, I mean, I don't have a child anymore that does the activities here, but it seems like at capacity, the parking there where people park for those activities can get pretty full. Are we like between the courts and pool parking and the parking further up, is that something that's gonna be a challenge or need to be addressed with the footprint, or are we fine?
No, we will eventually have to address parking at the 4 Hampton Road site. That's something I think all of us know. Right now, they've got, a lot of the sports teams have gotten used to parking at both locations. We need to retrain people to realize when the community center's online, they can't overwhelm it, because we could have 3 programs going on
Yeah.
and soccer practice or softball practice, so.
I mean, the great news is they're using it. The other side of that is you see where it literally kind of bleeds out onto, I don't know if anybody tries to park in church or whatever, but I just noticed
Yeah.
that that's already like stuffed sometimes.
Yes, and there is definitely areas at 4 Hampton Road that we could expand parking down the line. And it may be a creative partnership with DPW. We haven't gone down that road yet, but there is enough space that we could do overflow parking.
Any other questions? Okay, on to page 33, other culture and recreation. Pretty straightforward. Anyone has any questions? For Greg, slight increase on Christmas lights in the parade. Those numbers have been fairly static for a number of years, and the folks who run that, in view of cost increases for various items, requested a slight bump. So that is in there.
So that's not through Greg, just so you know, that's, Beth Dupel runs that through the parade committee, and they came to Corey and I as town administration. So
Yeah, but it
I
had
just
the word
didn't want-
recreation in it. It was after
I
Parks
just
and
wanted to
Rec.
make sure.
I want to get it off the
Make Greg
list.
do it.
But Bob, I do gotta tell you, like, last year you guys let us increase the fireworks budget by $2,000, and I just gotta say, that was the best money spent on a police detail, because we had no problems for people coming down the pathway. I say coming down the pathway, we had no problems. Coming through the woods was a whole nother subject that we have to deal with, but it's just, keeping people away from the explosives is a good thing, and we did it, and Jason Fritz, Deputy Chief Jason Fritz, really appreciated not having residents yell at him for not having access to it.
Great. Any questions on culture and recreation?
Speaking of culture.
I will move the budget at $21,000 then. Bob Kelly.
Second, Chris Suter.
Chris Suter seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And on the special events budget, there is if you look on page 25 under tab 1, there's a quick discussion about the Sesquicentennial Fund, the 250th proposed birthday party next year for the town. We will be discussing that on CIP night and not as part of a special event, since it's a one-off event. Any questions on special events?
Yeah, I do. So this fall, maybe summer, I remember reading in Seacoast Online, Portsmouth cut their funding for the fireworks, and they were looking for, or vice versa, they hadn't had it funded for a long time as part of their budget, and they'd always had it sponsored. And I was just wondering the pros and cons of going that way and having it sponsored. Obviously, this, I was reading about it, so I can tell there's cons, but I just was curious if you could speak to it.
Well, previously, they had a very generous corporation that was donating $50,000 a year for their for their fireworks. So, unfortunately, we have had no corporate sponsors ever approach us wanting to sponsor it. It's always been funded. I think it's one of the most sought-after events in town. So I'd hate not to have it funded, because the next thing you know is like, oh, sorry, we don't have the money. And the thing is, we need to, once the vote passes, we need to book a fireworks. So if I had to quickly fundraise for $8,000 or $10,000 to pay for everything, it might be a bit of a stretch to get that funding, especially with several organizations fundraising now.
So you had said nobody's come forward. Have we solicited donations?
We hadn't, because I've never been instructed to, Bob, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Okay. Might be something to think about. I like the idea.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily an idea. I wanted to hear what we had to say about it. Genuine question for
I
information.
like the concept. How's that?
Thanks, Greg.
Okay, any other questions? I will move the special events budget of $18,000. Bob Kelly.
Second.
Andrew Elliott seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. And since we're dealing with parks issues, if you go to page 35, under cemeteries, there's a placeholder of $1. And I'm assuming there's no conversations about that, so I will move the placeholder of $1 for cemeteries.
Second.
Andrew Elliott seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Judy did ask what it's for.
Oh. What?
What is that for?
Cemeteries.
If there's ever an expense for cemetery.
Yeah, back in the day, I think we had some expenses regarding, I don't know.
So should there
If it's $1, I didn't ask.
Relative to cemeteries, we have a line for it. So-
I think that's
Could that
the
help?
concept.
How about if I get you an
Chair,
answer next
when
time,
the
since that's a good
trees
question? We haven't spent since 2018, so I'm not sure.
That's when
But there's usually a good reason.
Winter Street Cemetery trees were removed.
Yeah.
That's why the line was created.
Well, Corey can spend a lot of bandwidth next year and decide whether he wants to
This
keep
is
that line.
sufficient. This is sufficient. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, then. So I think that's short of library. Well, we'll get to that in a second. Okay, so thank you.
All right, thank you.
Gentlemen.
Thank
for-
you.
For weighing in. Julia?
All right, library. I don't know which glasses to put on. I just never know which pair of glasses to put on while I'm trying to figure out what I can see and not see. Yes. That's good.
Okay.
Okay, so
Chris?
this year is our first year with a new library director. Welcome, Julia.
Hello, everyone.
Julia wasn't new to the library, but new to being the director. Again, I think most people understand how libraries run, but I'll just, quick recap is that they have their, there's an RSA through the state of New Hampshire to help protect libraries and their funding. So they are governed by their own board of directors, and who sets and approves their budget. But we do review it, we do talk to them, we do make recommendations that I really believe are listened to. And also, I think what's really great about working with the library and reviewing them is getting an understanding of how the library works, their expenditures, and it's quite a machine. It's a very, very big operation over there. It's not just taking out books. The other thing that happened this year, which is, I think, fairly new, was that the library's budget, let's see, I got so many pieces of paper in front of me. What you guys have in front of you, which would be for the public services, would be 280,732, right?
Line 55233.
Oh, yeah, 55233.
Page
Page 33 of 38. So what you have in front of you, the initial request was 280,732, and probably raised some eyebrows, and it's all explainable from some changes in how things are funded. But either way, we met with the library, some of the staff, our BRC, actually had multiple meetings to talk about is there anything that could be done to ask for less and to approve less by your board. And the library did come back with, oops, where's my numbers? Basically going down 20% and going down by 40,000, right? I don't want to misspeak. I got all my papers all mixed up again. But anyways, I have it. So I'd like Julia to speak to some of that. I mean, you all have the narrative, and you can, hopefully you've read about some of the things that they've done, their growth and all that good stuff. And with the passes, the things that you can take out, such as, a sewing machine, to, CDs and online, digital, all this good stuff. And all the programs they have for all ages at all times of the day and their teen center. Hopefully you've all read that, but I'd like Julia to kind of speak to public services, kind of a reminder of maybe what it is, what's included under that, because it's a very big umbrella. And if there's any things that you'd like to share, pass around, documents or anything, that'd be great.
I'll just pass around that new updated version,
Thank
which is
you.
reduced. First of all, thanks for coming out for a rainy night. And those of you who are here, thank you for being here. And those of you who are watching, I hope all of you have a library card. It's the best way to save money in Exeter. Last year, in 2024, library users saved an estimate of $2.25 million just from borrowing our physical objects at the library. Hoopla, one of our digital services last year, and to this saved librarian residents $199,000 by accessing their catalog of 1.9 million items. Patrons who used our Museum Pass program, which gets us entry into 155 historic sites, museums, gardens, etc. They saved $20,500. And that's just estimating that 2 adults came. Many of those are good for the whole family. So lots of savings to be had at the library. And I always like to say when the times get tough, people come to the library. And if anyone's tried to come to the library and park, you'll see there's never any parking. We're busy all the time. Our dedicated staff play a vital role in helping the community. Last year, I'm very proud to report that we were #1 in the state for programs. We had 2,122 programs that we hosted, despite the fact that compared to all the 235 libraries in the state, were 185th in terms of our budget for programs. So we do a lot with a very little amount of taxpayer monies. Exeter also has the 9th largest collection. So even though we're the 19th largest municipality in New Hampshire, we have like a big library feel, but at a smaller municipal budget. This year, the library is requesting a 4.4 increase. In terms of salary and wages, we in 2024 returned to the non-union wage scale, and we're going to continue to follow that. We do have an open assistant director position. I was the assistant director, and I've stepped into the director role. We hope to hire from within, and that will have some savings there. For those hours that were lost, we've increased the part-time hours. And in terms of the service budget, it is increased 20.1%. That's due to 2 large factors. In February of 2024, the library officially closed its building fund. We did have a warrant article passed to pay for the new library building. But if we all remember, COVID happened, remember those boats couldn't get wood and things into the country, so costs went up, and we covered those increase with the library building fund. And that is completely closed. It no longer exists as of February 2024. In March 2023, the town discontinued a practice that allocated unspent salaries and benefit funds to go back into the library to replenish that building fund. And that typically, looking back historically, was $40,000 to $70,000 in savings every year that would help pay for that last quarter of the year, and any of the savings from that would be saved into the building fund. So those have gone away. Other reasons for the increase, electrical costs have increased. We love our big, beautiful windows. Everyone loves visiting the library and staying on, there's rocking chairs on the porch you can rock on, and when it's a cold, wet day like today, you can look at the birds flying by from the warmth of our comfy chairs. But there is a cost at those beautiful views, even though it has all the appropriate film and weather stripping, etc. Electricity has increased because it's hotter in the summer and it's colder in the winter because we have big windows. It's the greenhouse effect for that. Similarly, book prices, and I've got Dan behind me, so he knows what I'm talking about. The Woman was by far the most popular book last year. This is our large print copy. It cost us $40.95 as the list price. And just a few years ago, this is the same author's large print book. It was $17.95, and that was in 2005. So just in 10 years, we've seen that big of a jump in prices, in particular with large print books. And as we know, we have a very large and robust senior community here in Exeter, and it's very important to us that we provide services that assist with that. The same with children's books. I love, do you remember Ripley's Believe It or Not? I always loved looking at the twins on the motorcycles. That was my favorite picture. But this is just from one year to the other, 2022 to 2023. This book was $18.20. And we did level up to $29.95 just in 1 year. So you can kind of see.
Believe it or not.
So, good one. So,
real silver?
Yeah. I hope it's silver. So basically what's happened, our books are more expensive. We also, unfortunately, because of that, Baker and Taylor, who was our long-standing distributor, went under in this budget year. We are very lucky. We saw the writing on the wall at the library, and Ingram is another vendor, and we're already in negotiations with them. But this is something, a fact of the reality is just books are costing a lot more money. And that is the biggest line item in our budget for services is books. But I'd love to say that, we do the most we can with what we have, and we hope to continue to serve the community. And especially when times are tight, the library is here. We have AARP tax help that helps you pay for your taxes. We have so many free programs to assist the community. We've partnered with several communities for food scarcity, so we're going to continue to help those in Exeter and make sure everyone has their library card and keeps reading. So thank you, guys.
Any questions?
Yeah. Julia, thank you. Could you talk a little bit about the digital services and
yes.
Hoopla versus Libby or Overdrive, and how that fits into the state of digital lending?
So I'll start with the newest service, Hoopla. Because in our new budget, we have chosen to cut it. Mm-hmm. The choice to cut Hoopla was a very difficult one. It is a robust program that people love. Yeah. However, it is a pay-as-you-go program. So the more people used it, and we had a steady, literally if you look at the chart, it goes like this, a very steady increase in users. And what that means is it was, last we had looked, was $26,000 in service fees, whereas Libby was only $13,000. That's our other digital service, but had more users. So we made the choice that because Hoopla was larger in cost, that was the redundancy that we were going to cut. If you guys might have seen also, Portsmouth had the same thing. They looked at the pricing model for Hoopla, and it just wasn't sustainable over time. The more use you had, the more expensive it was, and there was no way to cut the costs.
And that was something that Julie reminded me that Hoopla was added in, because it was Libby, and they added Hoopla during COVID because people couldn't get into the library. So, how are we going to serve people? And so they added in. And I supported the cut for Hoopla, even though I use it all the time.
And we're also, for those who are, I worry about ADA, for those who have low vision or learning disabilities or arthritis, please see the library because we can help you get associated with BARD. It's a free, don't you love the word free? National library program that actually has an app as well that people can use if they qualify. And the librarians now are allowed to qualify people. So if people are concerned about losing that service and that's the only way they can read, I really hope that they reach out to the library. There is a way. We will always find a way to get people to read.
Jay?
That was basically my question, is back up in, my sister's a trustee, so I should know it, but what Hoopla is. But with Hoopla being cut, and it's obviously popular, how is Libby making up completely the digital space that Hoopla had?
Libby
how
and
are
Bard,
you
yeah.
How are you dealing with that in the digital?
Because really Libby was the redundancy in terms of Hoopla, they both were ebooks and
Yes.
audiobooks.
Okay.
So the thing with Libby is it actually had a larger library because we do it through collective bargaining with other libraries in New Hampshire to reduce cost. So that model seemed more sustainable over time. And what's nice about that is because all of the libraries are bringing our budgets together, you can have a larger a list of books and catalog of books to choose from.
Regionalism? My God. Perish.
We love to save if it saves our taxpayers and libraries.
Can I ask another question? Sorry.
Fran.
Oh, sorry.
Over the years, the libraries have evolved to be much more than book circulation centers, and it continues on. Where's the greatest increase in cost coming from as you evolve into new venues, if you will? I know, for example, you do concerts. You're doing it on Saturday. I hope you invite everybody.
I would like to say I negotiated that down from 500 to 0. One of the things that is good is we are trying to defray the programming cost. The Friends of the Library is a separate from the library 501(c) that we have asked them to help assist us with reducing programming costs, and they've done a wonderful job doing fundraising to help defer that. And that's really helped us to keep that programming cost as low as we do. But we have other programs like the library, you mentioned sewing machines, Christine. We have a library of things that is new. We have sewing machines, a metal detector, a karaoke machines. That is almost 100% done by donations. People found out we had things like cake pans and wanted to donate more. So if you have an object you'd love to see at the library, give us a call. So that's another one that we're reducing costs by looking for donations or alternative methodologies of getting things. So Hoopla really is the newest service that we have. And again, that dates back into the COVID times. And that was, again, because we literally could not open our doors. And I'm very proud that we were one of the first libraries to open our doors in New Hampshire. As soon as they said we could open, and that March order was gone, we opened. And that really brought, I think, a lot of people to Exeter, which explains the sharp rise in usership. People have fallen in love with our library.
Yes.
Anna?
Well, it's more of a user question. I'll ask it because I want people to learn about the library. If you'll indulge me.
Go ahead, Ton. Say what you need to say.
Thank you. That's a compliment. I've used Overdrive with other library systems and had the experience of being able to either borrow more books or have more on reserve or have more time to read the books that I'm currently borrowing. Are those options things that are available in the New Hampshire system, or are they significantly more expensive than what we pay for here?
I will say they're more on par with Hoopla's model than the Libby model. But what's nice is it's called Advantage Plan, And we are purchased already, grandfathered into that. We did that very early. So vendors' cost won't increase for that. What would cost is basically, we can buy individual titles just for Exeter residents. So I do foresee us doing that more this next year, and that would come out of the general book fund. So we would dip into that to pay for those Advantage copies. What's nice is they do keep track of how many residents are on hold for a book. So for example, The Woman last year, we bought extra copies just for Exeter residents. You might not have even realized that we had produced that list for you that way.
Great.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Go ahead.
So when I was on the library subcommittee, I remember we saw a little bit more of a breakdown of what the public services line had in it, and I think we talked one time that you were thinking about doing that going forward. Oh, look, you have it with you. Yeah, just nice to.
I didn't
share.
know how much paper. I know Christine likes to be good for the environment, as does the library.
Information is more important than paper.
But this is like a further breakdown.
And is that something, though, that you wanted to do going forward in your actual budget book, was going to be my question.
That's something I would like to review for future. I would like to see that a little bit more clearly designated. In particular, for example, this year I've created, it used to be all books, including digital books, were lumped together. I've started to now suss that out because the dramatic rise in pricing in digital costs. So yes, there are certain line items that I would, others are printing. I've taken that out of general supplies, because as anyone who's gone to Staples to buy ink will tell you, it has gone up 8.5%, which is a significant amount. So things that I have noticed are increasing over time, I would like to create separate line items with, just to give a bigger picture. I think a lot of folks are using the library for telecommuting. As we know, work from home is a new model that we're now dealing with, and the library is definitely feeling that in our services. We're also looking, if you notice the technology line, the reason there's a $12,000 line there is because it's 5 years old, the new library. Doesn't that feel so new? But in technology terms, if we had our head of tech here, they would say it's an ancient system. So for safety, we have to make sure that the infrastructure there is updated this year. So those are the things that I would like to have more line items for, just for clarity, so folks understand what's going on at the library. Man, are we getting used.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
Yes.
Judy?
I have two questions. One is, on the salaries and wages part-time, you don't list how many employees there are. You listed the full-time. I was just curious how many part-time there are.
I have to do solid math. Sorry, we have 25 minus 9.
So it's 15 on this.
Thank you. 15. And I will say, part of those are, we really pride ourselves in our library page program. Those are high schoolers. I do apologize, I did misspeak about our salaries and benefits. We do have one role that is not on the union scale, which is the pages. They are paid off the union scale, but they're high schoolers and sometimes eighth graders who join the library. They shelve books and they learn the library as first-time jobs. So that is the majority of our part-time, our pages.
And also, what's happening with interlibrary loan? Is that dead?
Okay. Interlibrary loan is still alive. One thing that is interesting about libraries, because of that funny RSA in New Hampshire, we're more like kind of independent libraries rather than a system. So the state library does have an interlibrary loan program. It is literally vans that drive from library to library. Typically, there's 5 vans. However, because there's a hiring freeze and they had some drivers who retired or became ill and couldn't complete their job, they do have empty roles. They're hoping to get those rolled fills, which will increase the ILL capacity. But one thing I think is terrific is because Exeter is such a hub, we have not seen much of a breakdown in our ILL system in terms of some people haven't been getting drops every week, and we have. So they kind of see us as an epicenter for the Seacoast, and we're lucky in that. But I do have ideas if that ever goes away. I've been speaking with other local libraries, and we have some contingency plans there as well.
So that hasn't been knocked out by the
Not
federal-
locked, nope, and fully funded through September next year, according to the New Hampshire State Library and the A assistant.
Thank you.
I have a question here. I'm looking, just trying to add these up, where there's a $40,000 difference. And if you look at the bold numbers, it doesn't, it looks like there's, well, we can deal with that later. I'm assuming you did this on a spreadsheet. I'm not seeing the delta between, 25 and 26 of $40,000, but it must be in there somewhere.
And that's something I'm happy to work with. I had actually talked to Corey this afternoon. I'm happy to work with him, if there's spreadsheets or anything the town can use. I'm happy to make transparency and collaboration with Corey to make this process easier going forward as well. By RSA, we have to be separate, but that doesn't mean I don't mind using templates or however he would recommend doing things. We do have a longtime bookkeeper. They are at retirement age, so the trustees did vote on hiring an outside bookkeeper, because I don't think I can get a head of children's department and bookkeeper all in one go. We're very lucky that she's willing to do that and help us save money. I don't see that happening in this fiscal year. That's not added into this budget, but it is something that we're looking to do down the line. But in the interim, I'm happy to work with Corey. Just like the non-union scale, we want to make it easy on folks. We know there has to be that separation. The same with Public Works. I talked with them today, and they are more than happy to keep going on as we have. If something breaks at the library, because the library board is in charge of anything that happens to the library building, we always reach out to Public Works, and they've been very generous with helping us. They also, if they can't help us, they help us vet vendors, and we continue to hope to do that as well.
So I just added it up, and it's actually 237, not 200, so no wonder there's some anguish going into this year. It's a lot of money to sort of have on the table. Did you have something?
Yeah, I just, when you were bringing that up, it reminded me, when we had several meetings, but one of our meetings wrapped up, and right as it did, somebody came in, we need you. There's an issue with backup in the bathrooms. And literally, by the time I made it down the stairs, because I have bad knees, one of the women that was in the meeting had the gloves on and was going in, because they were the first line of defense to go in and try to fix the clogged toilets. So, and that's not the first time that they've done it.
Here, we're all the
So-
same. Like, we're willing to save any bucks we can. We'll paint walls. I'm really good with a snake now because those clogs get really deep down. I have my boots, my wet boots, for when we have any issues. We clean the children's room, cleans every body fluid you can imagine. We have a tough group of staff there that is willing to go that extra mile.
I'm surprised you only have one open position after hearing that.
Don? Thanks.
The 6.5% increase on the electricity, I assume that's some vendor?
Yeah, we get municipal rates, but we called all of our vendors in preparing the budget to see if they had estimated, and that's what we were given when we called.
The electric company told you it's going to be 6?
Mm-hmm, yep.
Have we had any effort to maybe go with LEDs or any of this?
We do. That was the disappointment with the new build. We had assumed there would be a reduction in cost because we were moving to LEDs with the new building, and it has not.
So the air conditioner or the heat motor is running all the time?
Yes, and we are also actively looking into, we've had a third-party look at our HVAC system to see if there is anything we can do.
Yeah, that's where the money is.
So that is our prognosis as well, and we are actively working with that with Resilience is the company that we're working with. And in fact, they just finished their scans in September. We hope to have a report any day now.
Anybody else? So to summarize sort of the 40 or the 20% increase, if you look back at the expenditures on the public services for the library for the last 5 or 6 years, it's around 200,000, which, as Julia mentioned, there was this sort of coupon system where at the end of the year, there would be a check issued. That practice stopped a couple of years ago, and you can see in 23 and 24 we spent under 200,000. But despite the budget being 200,000, the expenses were actually far higher than that. And in fact, the sheet that was handed out, it says that the 25 budget is 200,500. If you add up those numbers, it's actually 237,000. So the library has a lot of expenses they've had to deal with, cost increases that, for a variety of reasons, they have not been able to recoup through the budget process. So this year, again, gone 5 or 6 years at around 200,000. It was felt that an attempt to sort of normalize the expense stream would be helpful to try to get back to square one. So that's for this large increase. But again, if you sort of spread it over the last several years, it's not that large. And if you look at the bottom of Chris and Liz's write-up of paragraph 3, we had suggested in preliminary discussions that even though the library is separate with the RSAs, we are all on the same team. We have very talented staff in the town, not the least of which is our finance director and our public works folks in the maintenance and mechanic areas. So we have recommended that Julie and her staff make good use of that and really talk to Corey so that some of these accounting anomalies don't continue, and that also some of their HVAC and other issues might get some input from our maintenance folks. So it sounds like you're agreeing to that, and we look forward to
It's kind of how
a better collaboration than perhaps in the
We're happy
past.
to continue that. Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, what we have to keep in mind, and Julia's mentioned it a couple of times, is the library does operate under library trustees, and they hold the purse strings, and they can work with us to the extent that they want to or not. And we've had a great year of collaborating, and it's been good. But at the end of the day, the library doesn't prescribe to our accounting processes. That means we don't pay their bills like I pay other department bills. So I don't have so much visibility, ultimately, into what happens at the library. So it's just something we should all kind of keep in mind.
But you do have some expertise that they could benefit from.
And I know how to spit
Even
out
if it's just a phone call.
year-to-date report, and we can go over it
Excellent.
anytime.
That's all we ask.
Easy to do.
Yeah. And I
Our
talked
books
to,
are open for anyone.
yeah. And I talked to Julia again this past week and just clarified, wanted to make sure, and she said, oh, absolutely. She's like, if, Corey wants to help out and look at our stuff and meet with us and make, any assistance, she was completely on board with that, so.
It's like a breath of fresh air.
And, yeah, I greatly appreciate
Libraries are
it.
about ideas. Sharing ideas is
Yeah.
the basis of a library, so we
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, and, we're one community, and I really appreciate them they didn't have to meet with us multiple times and with the staff and offer up any reductions in their budget, and they did. So, that was really appreciated. And,
Okay, do you want to, anybody want to make a motion on the revised public services line, 55233?
I guess I'll make a motion for $240,732.
Andrew Elliott and Liz, was that you? Liz Canada seconds. Any further comments or questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. New health insurance and dental?
Yeah, there's a bunch of lines.
Okay.
That changed. So new health number is 155,265, 155,265. dental is 7750. Skipping down to buyout, it's zeroed out. We had someone take a different plan and stop taking the buyout. Skipping down to unemployment compensation, 212. Workers' comp, 3723. Library insurance, 2257. Total benefits, 311,668.
Thank you. So that will bring the total library budget to what?
1,338,335. 1,338,335. 4.4%.
Excellent. Do I hear a motion to approve that number?
So moved.
Second.
Fran Hall moves and Anna Grazer seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is a vote.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
my first ever budget review.
Proved
There wasn't a seat.
an excellent team player, and we really appreciate it.
Bring the karaoke machine.
I know, really.
It has a little
Let's make it really
light on
fun.
top that does a disco ball, so. You guys do a party
So
after
before,
you're done. You should.
just to,
Whatever
excuse
we
me.
do, it's missing a
It's not on the
decision.
budget.
We're still in budget discussions here, everyone. The CIP discussion, if you look on page 16, we're not going to discuss it in detail tonight, but the request was for a one-time $75,000 building maintenance fund. Julie alluded to a number of HVAC and other construction-oriented issues that they've dealt with over the past few years. This is an attempt to try to build a fund back up that they can deal with that without having to increase their budget. Just in discussing with the executive team, this is not a year, well, a couple of things. One is that we didn't think that this would be a one-off. They really need to build up a fund here because there are a lot of systems with that library that are in the 35-year-old vintage, and to the extent we won't be building a new library anytime soon, we need to deal with those. So the executive team and I will throw out for consideration to the committee, instead of $75,000 one time, we would recommend more of a $25,000 for every year, similar to the Parks Fund and ADA and sick leave and all the other snow and ice funds. So it'd be a smaller amount in the first year, but that it would continue every year in an attempt to build this up. We'll discuss that in more detail in a couple of weeks.
When we do that, could we just have more specifics about what it is that needs to be done and what's before? I've got that all prepped for you. Oh, okay.
Good. Excellent. Thank you.
That's all we need. Movie trailer.
Great. So that brings us to the end. Thank you, Chris and Liz, for putting together an excellent report, leading a nice discussion. That brings us mostly to the end of general government. There is one final item that we will be closing out next week as part of the water fund discussions. On page 35, the miscellaneous, there's the fire protection item that we had discussed a couple of times over the past few years. And I alluded to it a few weeks ago. And I will, and my subcommittee, Jay and Fran, will be providing more information on that for discussion next week. Any final questions or comments about any of the items tonight? Okay, next Wednesday, we will be meeting on the water and sewer budgets. Again, the subcommittee, myself, Jay Childs, and Fran Hall. And you will get a report, hopefully by Monday, to put you to sleep for a couple of nights prior to Wednesday.
Did we have a Tuesday instead of a Wednesday, or did I
The
get
week
my calendar
after, the
wrong?
week after the CIP
Okay.
meeting is
Okay.
Tuesday. Okay, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Jay and Liz moved in second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It's a vote. See you next Wednesday.
Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.